You don't have to try breaking the law to do so in Soviet America, where a man who was importing lobsters from Honduras was arrested here for violating Honduran regulations. My next guest says it's time to stop punishing Americans so harshly for violating laws from foreign countries. Joining me now, Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul. Senator Paul, it's always a pleasure. Welcome here. Some of these laws are really, really crazy, like importing things into the United States which are lawful to have here and lawful to import here, but violate some technical rule of the country from which they were imported. And some of them are just downright wrong, like if a father and a son are taking a leisurely walk on federal property and they reach down and discover a few Indian arrowheads and they put them in their backpack and take them home, both the father and the son can be indicted by the feds and exposed to more than a year in jail. How can that be?
Well, interestingly, the U.S. citizen who is a fisherman who was fishing off the Honduran coast and bringing in crabs into Florida was given 8 years in prison, not for breaking a U.S. law, but for breaking a Honduran law. And you know what the law was? Or the Honduran regulation?
What?
It said that your crabs need to be in cardboard, not plastic. He had them in plastic bags, not in cardboard. That and a few other violations of Honduran regulations. He got prison sentence of 8 years.
Now that shows a couple of dangers, if I may. It shows the danger of too much discretion in the hands of prosecutors. There should be some harm that he actually caused as a prerequisite to them prosecuting him. It also shows that people can be prosecuted for violating federal laws where they don't intend to break the law. For 200 years, the government had to prove intent. Now they don't have to prove that anymore.
Well, Judge, you'll be proud of me. I'm not an attorney, but I have another bill coming out soon that's going to address mens rea for regulations, that you have to show intent to have committed a crime in order to be tried and given a criminal sentence. But the reason we got excited about this or got offended and appalled about this was because Gibson Guitar was raided in Nashville, which is just down from my home,
right,
and they were accused of breaking a labor law in India. No U.S. citizen should ever be prosecuted, much less thrown in jail, for breaking a foreign country's law. So we have a new bill out that strikes everywhere that it says foreign law in the Lacey Act. We get rid of that. We change the criminal penalties to civil penalties, and we think that would bring some reason back to these regulations.
This is something that I've been writing and speaking about, as you know, for years, where the courts and the Congress, in subtle ways that the public doesn't even know about it, have dropped the mens rea requirement, a legal phrase meaning a guilty mind. You have to know what you're doing and understand that you're breaking the law. Stated differently, the government should not be able to punish you because of what is essentially an accident. It should only be able to punish you because of harm you caused and intended to cause.
Yeah, and I'm horrified because, see, we're also putting people in jail for wetlands violations. You say, oh, well, are they polluting the Everglades? No, they're putting dirt or clean fill on low areas of residential developments. And there's a woman and her father and her dad's partner in Florida that were given 10 years in jail for putting dirt on dry land.
Unbelievable. Switching gears. Were there any shenanigans in the vote counting in Nevada the other day? I mean, we went through the history of your father's vote gathering in the states in 2008 and in 2012, and everywhere he goes, his numbers increase dramatically, except in Nevada. Did something happen?
Yeah, I looked at those statistics, and you're right. He's doubled and tripled his vote everywhere except for Nevada, and they thought they had a good organization out there. So I think they're very surprised. The other thing that colors our perception a little bit is in 2008, certain Republicans confiscated the votes and put them in a safe in a casino, and they stayed there for 4 years, and they never were counted until just recently. So we are a little worried about it.
Senator Paul, it's a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Just when you thought it was safe to